Okay, I'm wishing everybody a good gebencht year. Let's start off with one of the more well-known Sukkos songs, Rachaman Yakim Lanu. Harachamanu Yakim Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Harachamanu Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. Dee-dee-da-dum ba-ba, dee-da-dum ba-ba, dee-da-da-da-da-da-dum ba, dee-dum ba-bum ba-ba, dee-da-dum ba-ba, dee-da-da-da-da-da-dum ba, dee-dum ba-bum ba-ba, dee-dum ba-dum ba-da, dee-dee-da-dum ba-ba, dee-da-dum ba-ba. Harachamanu Yakim Lanu, Sukkos David Hanofales. And welcome aboard to Ari and Karen. Good to see you, and to Chava Schwartz. And I think that's the Resniks, probably Howard or Devorah, or both. I recognize the telephone number. And hello to Yosef Aaron's too. So sometimes when we're looking at something in Yiddishkeit, and when it comes especially to a time of year, we have to look not only at the Yom Tov itself, but also at the sequence of Yom Tovim that leads into that Yom Tov, because it's all one continuum. So we have here Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkos. That's all one flow of Zaman. And even though when we get to, for example, Rosh Hashanah, we're focusing on what that day is, Yom Hadin, which we spoke about, and we get to Yom Kippur and the day of Slicha, Mechila, Kapora, on that day we're focusing on it. Then Sukkos is coming, B'ezras Hashem, tomorrow night, and we focus on Zaman Simchaseinu. So every Yom Tov has its own individual theme, most definitely, but we're also in the midst of a sequence of time right now. So I'd like to look at Sukkos for a minute in that way. Sukkos is called Zman Simchaseinu, but it's interesting because every Yom Tov, each one of the Shalosh Regalim, is a time of Simcha. The theme of Yom Tov, of the Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkos, the common denominator is Simcha. And Simcha is Shayach on each one of the Yom Tovim. So why specifically does Sukkos get the title Zaman Simchaseinu? Because Pesach is Zaman Cheruseinu, the time of our freedom. Shavuos is Zaman Matan Torah Seinu, the time of Matan Torah. Sukkos is Zaman Simchaseinu. Of all the three regalim, which are all times of Simcha, Sukkos gets the title, Zaman Simchaseinu. So one way we can look at it is because Davka, it comes after Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the time of the complete cleansing of the Jewish people, head to toe. We go through a process of tahara on Yom Kippur, which is unlike any other process of tahara that we experience. It's for every yachid, it's for every individual in Klal Yisrael, It's for the Jewish people as a whole, for Klal Yisrael. And we leave Yom Kippur with a sense of being relieved from everything that we're carrying around with us for an entire year. All of our baggage has been washed away. And leaving Yom Kippur is that sense of we have a clean slate. Now that means a lot of joy, a lot of simcha. So we don't go into any other Yom Tov like that. We go into each Yom Tov in its own unique way, but this is very unique to going into Sukkos. In addition to that, there's something else that the Chachamim want us to be doing during these times, the time between Yom Kippur and Sukkos, which is build your sukkah. We're supposed to begin doing something with our sukkah as soon as Yom Kippur is over. Therefore, many people have the minhag, based on the Ramah in Shulchan Aruch, that after Yom Kippur, after you sit down and break your fast, you should just do a little something for your sukkah. You don't have to build the whole thing. Do a little something for your sukkah. I carry up a little bundle of schach on Yom Kippur, on Matzah Yom Kippur, after I break the fast. I carry up one of my bundles of schach and bring it upstairs and put it there, either in my sukkah or near my sukkah, so I can do something to connect Yom Kippur to Sukkot. Then the next day, we're supposed to get involved with building our sukkah. Now, people ask the question, how about if you built your sukkah before Yom Kippur, which is clearly allowed to do? But nonetheless, you should still do something after Yom Kippur to connect them. So the Chachamim say that the days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot we're so busy that we don't have any time to do Averos. So we have the cleansing of Yom Kippur, which purifies us from Averos. Then we get into the building the sukkah and the buying the lulav and the esrog, which takes a lot of time. And so now we're too busy to do any Averos. So we walk into Sukkos like free and clear, cleansed, slicha, kapara, and then after that, too busy to sin. That reminds me of something the Kotzker Rabbi, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, once said. He said, I cannot tell you that my Hasidim are so pure that they never sin, but I can tell you that they're too busy to do Averos. So that's what we're trying to make happen between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. So Zaman Simchaseinu, like what greater simcha could there be than walking into a Yom Tov, purified of our Averos from Yom Kippur, too busy to do any more Averos. We walk right into Sukkot, very, very pure. Zaman Simchaseinu. And then where do we go with that? Right into the holiest atmosphere of the Sukkah. So everything is directed by Hashem and by the Chachamim to make this sequence that when we walk into that Sukkah, not only are we purified, but we're going into an atmosphere, which is the atmosphere of the Sukkah, which is completely kadosh, v'tohor. We can't see it with our bare eyes, but if we could, when we walk into a Sukkah, we would see something completely pure and holy. So this is because of a lot of joy and a lot of simcha. Wow, what a tremendous gift that Hashem does this for us to celebrate Sukkot and all this tremendous Kedusha and Tahara and take that into our Sukkah. Because that's looking at Yom Kippur as the sequence and then experiencing that. And of course, the end of that is Simchas Torah, where we're at the climax of that Simcha, the very, very last day. And we put all of that Simcha into the Torah. And then with that, we begin all over again. Bereshis bara Elokim. That's a whole other drasha, but I wanted to include it because it's also part of the sequence. Now let's take a look at part two. Part two is what we're actually doing in the Sukkah. A very famous statement from the Baal Shem Tov, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, Zechusa Yogein Aleinu. He says that a Sukkah is the only mitzvah that you walk into with your entire body, including the mud on your boots. That's how he phrased it. So people might say, what do you mean? Maybe a mikveh? Yeah, you don't go with the mud on the muddy boots into the mikveh, right? But the sukkah, we go the entire body, even with the mud on your boots. That's the Baal Shem Tov's teaching. So what does that mean? First of all, who knows Baal Shem Tov? We can't understand his holy words, but we have to learn from them. And the idea being, everything is Mekudash in a sukkah. Even the very basic physical needs and activities of a person, eating, sleeping, those most basic things that we need to do in order to live, they become elevated in the sukkah. And we walk in there, and the atmosphere is such that everything has an aliyah. Everything is now Kodesh B'Torah. Now, it's true that we're not permitted to do activities in the sukkah which would be disrespectful of the sukkah. So one does not, for example, build a bathroom in their sukkah, even though you're supposed to live in your sukkah, but that's out of the question. We're talking about anything that we do as human beings, as long as it's not disrespectful of the sukkah. So eating, sleeping, talking, none of those things are disrespectful. That's our daily physical life. We're meant to go into the sukkah as a complete and total person and not hiding any part of our human personality, so to speak, the mud on our boots, because we're all out there in the physical world and we all get dirty out there in the physical world and we get involved as we have to earn a living. We have to be involved with things that are sometimes unpleasant and difficult. That's part of human life. So we walk into the sukkah complete, total human being. We don't leave anything out unless it's disrespectful. Therefore, this is another great cause to be b'simcha. Because when a person has the opportunity to be completely and totally elevated, totally, wow, what a tremendous source of joy that is for us. We don't have to leave anything out. So Sukkos does that for us. So now we have two things, we can look at them both together. Number one is the way we go into Sukkos, purified, Yom Kippur, building sukkahs, too busy to sin, walking into the sukkah, and now the sukkah itself takes us every facet of our personality, even our physicality, and lifts it to the highest level. That's why, at least on the spiritual level, the halacha teaches us, take everything into the sukkah. You want to have a conversation with somebody? Have it in the sukkah. We're really supposed to do that. You'll have a little 5-minute talk with somebody about the weather, and you're in the kitchen. So just step outside and have that conversation in the sukkah. Now it's Kodesh. A person wants to just kind of sit down and relax. Okay, don't do that in your living room. Do it in your sukkah, because now it's holy. We're really supposed to take everything out there. And we see this in the halacha, encouraging us. Person might say, I'm not chayiv to be in the sukkah. I can even eat outside the sukkah as long as it's not mazonos or hamotzi. I'm allowed to have a conversation outside the sukkah. True. By the letter of the law, true, we don't have to. But why not? Why not? Why not take it into the sukkah? Because it can either be regular or it could be holy. So let's make it holy. Now, I don't want to impose on anybody, because obviously sometimes it may not be the best time to walk outside in the sukkah, and all kinds of things that can interfere with human life, and it just may not be practical. I don't want to make people think that they have to be out there every single second of the day. But what I do want to make sure that we all understand is how important it is to be in our sukkahs and how much it does for us and how much it sanctifies us. And therefore, that's a cause of great joy and a source of great joy. So therefore, Sukkos, Zaman, Simchaseinu. Okay, we'll close off with a little nigun again, one of our more well-known Yom Tov nigunim. V'samachta v'chagecha v'hayisa ach sameach v'samachta v'chagecha v'hayisa ach sameach v'samachta v'chagecha v'hayisa sameach v'samachta v'chagecha v'hayisa sameach. Diriram bye bye bye, diriram bye bye, diriram bye bye, diriram bye bye bye, diriram bye bye, diriram bye bye, diriram bye bye. V'samata v'chagecha v'hayisa sameach, v'samata v'chagecha v'hayisa sameach. Wishing everybody a beautiful Yom Tov. If you can unmute yourselves and we can say Erev Tov, a Gityor, a Gitfittel, a Gebenchtior, Zman Simchaseinu, a beautiful, joyous Sukkos, and a beautiful Shabbos. Lanu L'chol Yisrael.
Amen.
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 Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Good Yom Tov, Rabbi Goldberger.
Good Yom Tov, everyone.
Yontif.
Good Yom Tov, everyone.
Sure.
Beautiful Yontif.
All good things. I see Nachshon and Esther in New York. Good to see you.
Good Yom Tov.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Goldberger.
Thanks. All the best.
Okay, good Yom Tov. Thank
Give
you.
to bench to everybody.
Amen.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. Everybody have breakfast this year. And shalom.
Shalom,
Nidushanachas and
Amen.
everything good.
Amen.